Hi, hello, how are you? I'm Pia. June is upon us and I have constructed a TBR that probably makes no sense to my normal viewers here. If you didn't know, I read a lot of contemporary. It is probably my favorite genre, if you would call it that. It encapsulates so many different kind of subgenres, but I love a contemporary fiction, I really do. And I also a writer, and I am planning on trying to kind of like finish my manuscript this month of June. I feel like I'm going to be saying that in a lot of videos, so be forewarned. I'm working on my manuscript, and that is a contemporary YA kind of romance. So I'm trying to steer very clear of that genre while I am writing. I just find that this works best for me as to not like literally copy other people's characters and plots and motivations and those sorts of things. So I have picked out a lot of things that are kind of outside of my comfort zone or just things that I haven't read from in a while. And also I tried to figure out a lot of these things that I have audiobooks for because I will be writing so much. I don't anticipate having a lot of time to physically read, but you know, you never know. Let's get into it. This is too ambitious. Anyway, the first book I have here is The Kingdom. I bought this last year, I think. This is a sci-fi. I'm so like, I'm a baby when it comes to sci-fi. I really have maybe read like a handful. But this is YA sci-fi, which I find kind of interesting, and it reminds me a lot of like Tomorrowland. Like, you remember? Okay, I know a lot of people haven't watched this movie, but it's actually like a decent movie. But there's a character who's a robot, and I feel like that is what this is. Is that true? Or is that just my memory of it? I have no idea. Yeah, I'm totally right. It's about like a robot. She's starting to experience like human emotion, like what is humanity? All sorts of fun questions. I haven't really heard many things about this since I like first picked it up and like bought it. I guess I was intrigued enough to purchase it, so might as well read it as well and have some fun. Look at that. Next up is a fantasy. This is The Other Side of the Sky. This is a recent purchase. I don't buy a lot of books, but this is by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. Sorry, like I'm throwing up words today. This is about a prince and a goddess and worlds coming together or saving them or destroying them. I'm not sure. I know that this author duo has written quite a few things. This one just like was the most intriguing to me. Don't ask me why. Again, trying to kind of like pick up some things that maybe I wouldn't. And oh wait, hold on. Stop the phone. Laini Taylor blurbed this. A vivid and compulsive thriller, oh my god, love, set in a beautiful, perilous world of myths and treachery. You won't want to put it down. Okay, Laini Taylor, that just made me want to read this like 10 times more. I love blurbs. Anyway, even though some of them aren't true. But this seems like a really fun like start to a fantasy space opera, if you will. So I'm very excited about that. Whew, it's like 94 degrees outside and I'm like, whew, no fan on, no air. We are killing it. Okay, so next up I have Circe. Now this is a risky choice for me. I read, oh my god, what is her other book? The Song of Achilles. I read The Song of Achilles back in November or something like that, and I did not like that book. I'm sorry. This is the case with some books. I think some people like Circe more than they like Song of Achilles or vice versa. So I'm hoping that I like Circe more than Song of Achilles. This has deckled edges, which I'm like, why did I buy this? I hate deckled edges. Oh, it has a map. Anyways, I am very excited about this. I do have the audiobook. I did read The Odyssey when I was, you know, like 12 or 13. 13. So, you know, I mean, throwback, if you will. I don't really know what to expect from this. I guess I really am just hoping it will be better than my experience reading Song of Achilles, but I don't really know what to say. Also, this is about Circe, who's a witchy witch. I know it's an Odyssey retelling. I guess, I think it's from her perspective, but oh! A bookmark. That was the worst noise I've ever made, but I found it. From Boston? I love used books. Next up here we have a book that kind of like integrates genres. This is a part memoir, part magic. This is Black Girl Unlimited. I've had this for a little while and I have always been so intrigued about it. I've also like heard amazing things about it. I've heard it's like the next Harry Potter, which like I love because it's like a black female main character. Like, we stan. I am so excited. It's a coming of age story. It is kind of dipping into the realm of things that I might be writing about, but I'm not writing about magic. So, oh, and I already put a bookmark in here. These are from Pia Prince, if you want to check them out, link below. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this author is telling the story. Like, I think that's such an interesting way to tell a memoir, is like through magic and through kind of fantastical elements. And I also believe it's a debut, which is like even more incredible. I wasn't originally gonna put this on my TBR for the month, but I saw it on my shelf and I said, well, now's as good of a time as any to read Stephen King's On Writing. I've read bits and pieces of this for classes, just for funsies, and I would really like to, you know, read it from start to finish. Obviously, as I'm writing, I'm hoping it won't fuck with me. I'm really hoping that it won't make me be like, oh my god, I need to entirely rewrite what I just wrote. So, you know, fingers crossed, it will be more beneficial than that. I mean, but then again, maybe that's what I need. Who knows? But I do think this will provide a lot of like inspiration and comfort in kind of reading a writer's words on writing whilst writing. How many times can I say writing? I don't know. So, I don't know. I think a lot of people have differing opinions on Stephen King. I personally haven't read that much Stephen King, but he is such a prolific and like recognizable, well-known author that I find what he has to say about his writing and his process very interesting. So, we have another recent purchase, Tender as a Flash. I always say I don't buy books a lot, and then I'm like, I just bought this. I just got this from the Strand when I was in New York the other day, and I'm so excited to pick this up. If you know anything about me, I love horror. I just am so, maybe I'm like desensitized to it. But I'm so hard to impress when it comes to horror. It's the same with a lot of things. I think just if you read a lot of one thing or consume a lot of one type of content, it's gonna be hard to find a gem. So that has been the case for me with horror and thrillers, and this one just is standing out to me a lot. I watched the movie Fresh, I guess when it came out, it was what, February? And that is like my favorite movie of this year. I think it was so well executed. I know that we're talking about this book, but I just wanna give a plug. And this reminds me a lot of that concept. It's about cannibalism. But specifically in this book, it's about a world in which I believe the animals have kind of contracted some sort of disease where if you consume them, then you will die. It begins a kind of farming of humans. I don't even think I've heard a bad thing about this book from the people that I trust here in BookTube, so I'm so excited to read this. I mean, like, is that bad that I'm excited to read it? I don't know. Is it sick? Probably, but I just am so interested to this author's take on this kind of concept and this kind of near future dystopian kind of almost world. So I'm very excited about this one. Here we have yet another fantasy. This is Bone Crier's Moon. Can I tell you anything about this book? I feel like I'm so much better at giving like contemporary synopses because like fantasy could be anything. It's probably, I think it's enemies to lovers. I think there's a romance, granted. Oh my gosh, she has, okay, our main freaking character has to kill the boy that she is destined to love. That is so iconic. I love that. That's so cutthroat. But I'm assuming there's gonna be some complications in that process because they're both on the cover. Yeah, I really don't know anything about this book. But I'm excited again to dive into fantasy. I'm hoping it's not the same friggin' fantasy book that I've read 100 million times, but you know, we shall see. Then I would really love to read Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I have become a Sally Rooney girly. I did not anticipate this happening for me. Like, next thing you know it, I'm gonna read Colleen Hoover and like cry. So I don't even know who I am anymore. I read Adorable People last month and like died essentially. So I would really love to read some more of her books. She has 2 more, so I'm going to continue down the line. I honestly have no idea what this is about. I had no idea what Normal People is about and loved that book, so I'm assuming I will also love this book. I think she writes some amazing characters and they're such character-driven stories. I'm assuming it's going to be another kind of slice of life type of book, and I'm very excited to read it. Last up here we have A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. This one I'm really excited. I love mermaids. I really do. I've loved mermaids since I was a child, and I am very excited to read a story with mermaids. I believe it has mermaids. Watch me like be fucking wrong. This is a speculative fiction, so it kind of like weaves together contemporary and fantastical elements centering around 2 sisters. I really love reading about like siblings and like family dynamics and things like that, so I am really excited about those sorts of things. I know this has like a companion kind of sequel to it. This, I mean, came out a couple years ago, but I have heard really, really good things about it, and it looks like kind of the perfect summery read. I'm sure it has other things going on, but it does kind of scream summer to me. So I'm excited about it. Those are books that I'm hoping to read in June. Let me know what you guys want to read in June, or if you've read any of these books already, and let me know your thoughts. I would love to freaking hear them. Wish me luck with all my writing and reading. We'll see how this kind of balancing thing goes. Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe to all the things, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!